Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to tell you thank you. And please share this commentary with people you think will find it informative. And we try to come with a common sense approach, PhD common sense approach to life's issues with a slight legal slant. And we got to talk about this upcoming presidential election and what is going on in the office as we speak with President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. And President Biden, he seems to be way out of it age-wise. He can't hardly walk to a podium. He can't stop falling down. He can't read a monitor. I think this migrant crisis has been a disaster. When Trump wanted to build a wall, everybody was against him. And this video is not about being pro-Trump, but this video is about stating the facts between the Democratic and Republican Party. And I actually think that Donald Trump is going to win again. I'm an independent, but if you look at what's taking place, like I said, Biden might not even make it out of office. He looks worse than what Ronald Reagan looked like in the 80s when he was going through his dementia or Alzheimer's, and the government, looked out for Ronald Reagan so he wouldn't be embarrassed. But Ronald Reagan was forgetful and all over the place too. But Joe Biden looks worse than Ronald Reagan. And I think it's scary for Democrats because as we approach this election this year, if he doesn't make it, that would mean that Kamala Harris would be the president. And I think that would be a complete blunder. As I said to you before, Biden has a thorn in his side with this migrant crisis and the sanctuary cities that have inundated New York and Chicago and Denver and Atlanta, decimated California and Arizona. And actually, Vice President Kamala Harris was supposed to be the leader for the migrant issue since she came from the state of California. And people are very worried that if Biden doesn't make it, nobody wants Kamala Harris to be the president. And I don't like her at all. I think she's fake. Her legal record back in the state of California when she was the district attorney was horrendous for her incarcerating many people of color. She does not seem befitting for the office, the highest office in the land. And let's give you a little backstory on her. I think she's a simpleton. But Kamala Harris is 59 years old, from Oakland, California. She graduated from Howard University, and she went to the University of California, Hastings Law School. She began her career as a DA in Alameda County and in San Francisco DA's office. And later, she was the Attorney General for San Francisco in 2010, 2014, and she became a U.S. Senator in 2016. So that's a little backstory on her. And if you look at her legislative and voting record in California, it was horrendous. And we all know that Biden just put her in office because he wanted to continue this symbolism of having a person of color after we had first black president Barack Obama in office, and he wanted to follow that mantra with a black female. She checks off 2 boxes for President Biden. But you remember during that first election debate, when they were trying to see who was going to be the Democratic nominee, she accused Biden of being racist, that he was one of the biggest voters against desegregation and busing and integration of schools. And that didn't sit well with Biden and his wife, but I think the Democratic Party pressured him to have Kamala Harris as the vice president, and she has done nothing. Biden has fumbled the ball with the migrant issue. He's fumbled the ball with the Ukraine-Russia. issue. I think he's fumbled the ball with the Gaza Strip war. He has signed checks and aid in the hundreds of billions of dollars for Ukraine, Russia, and the Gaza Strip war. And he has done nothing for homelessness, mental health issues, joblessness, criminal gun violence in America, inept inner city public schools. It's as if Biden has turned his back on the 5 or 6 underbellies that are boiling precipitously in America and is destroying the moral fabric of our country. I think Biden has done a very poor job, and his second in command is even worse. As I said, I think she's a simpleton. I think she talks at people and not to them. She sounds like a second grade teacher when she's at the podium, like she is talking to a bunch of second grade students. I think it's demeaning. I think she has a superiority complex very similar to Nikki Haley, that's running on the Republican side, the ex-governor of South Carolina. I don't really see a relationship that Vice President Harris is having with the common voter and citizen. She comes across as somewhat of an elitist, and that's not wrapped too tight or is in tune with the conditions and concerns of the average American citizen. She has lost many staff members. Quiet as it's kept, they don't get along with her. And as you know, back when she was starting her political career, she had a relationship with the mayor of San Francisco, Willie Brown, who also went to the University of Hastings Law School. He's much older than her, and that's been controversial. Of course, she dated him before she was married, but the storyline is that she dated him to advance her political career in the state of California. So there's always been these rumblings of how a cute, light-skinned, mixed young lady has navigated her way through this political system. And I don't even think that she really considers herself and relates to black people in America, the average black citizen, hardly at all. I don't think Barack Obama did. I think that is a huge misnomer, and that black people think that having someone like Barack Obama, Kamala Harris in office was going to start the engine for black people to start making advances in America, and none of that has taken place. Many times, if you have the wrong black leader representing black folks, it could be worse than having a white person representing black folks. And I think Barack Obama and Kamala Harris represent that. They represent an elite, light-skinned lawyer kind of image that does not resonate with the average black citizen from Chicago, St. Louis, Philadelphia, New York, and many of your urban cities. But we as black people, we're very passive. We have a tendency to want to uplift anybody of color, no matter how bad or terrible that they are. And it does us a disservice, and I think it sets us back even further. She comes from a upper middle class family. Her father was a professor at Stanford. Um, she thinks that she is a cross between Oprah Winfrey and Barack Obama, the way she speaks. As I said, I think she speaks at people and not to them. She speaks to you like you are a little child, with that slow vernacular and that slow speed and volume in her voice. I don't like any of it. Right now, she has a 33% approval rate, and I think the Democrats are in trouble. If Biden does not continue to run a second term, and if the Democratic Party makes Kamala Harris the Democratic leader, I think Donald Trump is going to win in a landslide. What I think the Democrats are trying to do is push up Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who looks presidential, even though he has destroyed California with the liberal laws and his voting legislation, he would be better than Kamala Harris or even Biden coming back. I don't think Biden will make it through another term, honestly. And I'm not advocating as a Democrat. I'm an independent. But they are in a wallop of trouble. And it looks like Donald Trump might get back in to be president again. And there were many things he was right about. Trump was right about the border. Trump didn't have a bad relationship with Putin and Russia. There were no wars during Trump's administration. And even though he came across as a bully, I think to a certain degree, having that kind of I'm not afraid of anything resonates throughout the world and keeps the bully at bay. And I think Trump did that. I think Trump, it was correct that there is voter fraud. I think your national vote does not mean a lot. I think people should pay attention more to the local and state voting issues and making sure those laws are in the correct measure. I do think that the national vote is not about your individual vote. It's about the Electoral College anyway. And there are a lot of things that Trump is right about. And Trump is just the first rich white guy that has told on and has put a mirror in front of other rich white people. And they've never seen anything like it, and it's disturbing and distracting. But I'd rather see somebody that's upfront, that wears their emotions on their shoulders, you know where they come from, versus somebody like Kamala Harris, who seems sneaky, not trustworthy. She tries to come across as a mixture of Oprah and Barack Obama. I think it's fake. I think people can see right through it. And I think she's a dope. I don't think she's going to be healthy for this country. And I think the Democrats that are waddling on the fence are going to sway and vote Republican. Definitely in the South. And even those housewives that are going to vote in alignment with their husbands, especially white America, I think if they were Democrat or on the fence, they're going to vote Republican. And I think Donald Trump is going to win it back again. I don't think Kamala, if you notice, Biden has not put her in the forefront. In many media situations, you very rarely hear her speaking. When she does, she's not saying anything. She's been using this one little motto, what can be unburdened by what has been. She has said that 1,000 times. I don't even think she knows what that means. And she sounds like a robot. She doesn't seem like she means anything by what she says, that it's all an act. And there's a very fine line between politicians and politics and Hollywood and acting. It seems like it's all staged. And Donald Trump has talked about that. So I don't believe, as an African-American middle-aged man, that Kamala Harris is befitting for being a vice president, let alone the president. I don't think Joe Biden physically, I never cared for Joe Biden in the first place, but his leadership has been subpar at best. And I think that Donald Trump is going to galvanize the people and take America back. And he probably is going to win if the Democrats don't come up with a better solution for a leader to run against Trump. The Democrats are in hot water and in big trouble, and it'll go back to Trump again in 2024. So, thank you for listening to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a righteous, positive way, and let's get America back to a healthy state that it should be.